Welcome to the day 3 of the 30 days AI automation challenge. Today I'm going to be explaining what triggers are, what nodes are, how to add them, and of course I'm also going to be explaining a bit about the workflow again like I did in the second day. I'm also going to set up a simple workflow so that you can be able to understand as we continue. Is that okay? If you have not watched the first video and the second video, please do that before you join us. Check in the video description, the links to those two videos are there. Now we have been talking about automation workflow, and like again I said, this is the interface, and today we're going to be using the local host. Is that okay? In the second video I taught you how to run your NetN locally on your Docker in your laptop, and then we're going to be using it. Remember, this is the one that I actually registered directly from their website, but we'll be building today on the local host. Is that okay? So again, this is where you can rename it. So I can just rename it day 3 and whatever you want to name it. Like let's say you're working for a big company, you can put their tags here. Is that okay? Or you're working for somebody, you can put in their name here so they can be able to identify them by the task. So we have just talked about that this is the editor, and this is exactly where you can start running your workflow, your automation directly from. So I explained basically everything here from the second video, so kindly watch that video if you have not. So if you come here, you can see that if you maybe you have worked to a certain point and probably you lost your work, you can actually reset or restore that particular previous version of what you were doing back by clicking here. Is that okay? So it's just a way of saying do and redo, undo rather and redo, so you can do it somewhere here. Of course, I told you that here is where you can zoom in, and then here you can zoom out, or you can just click here to reset it back to how it was supposed to be. Is that okay? So under here is execution. If you have done anything and it's not working, you can just come to execution and find out why it's not working. You will be able to see the issue here. Don't worry, this will be explained even more. Under evaluation, we also have this. Just try to click most of these things and see how they are being done. All right, so today what we want to know is that please, one thing important again is that if we are working from the local host, pay attention and remember that you will have to toggle on your Docker and ensure that the engine is running. If the Docker app is not open and is not running, the local host will not actually run. So if you are doing it from the local host, ensure that you on the Docker and is currently running. You can see that my own is running, engine running, the one we run from the day 2 class. Is that okay? So that is that, and now let's do a simple practice of adding a node. Now if I click on here, for example, you can see that all these things here are nodes. Is that okay? We have trigger manually. So trigger manually is, of course, trigger is the first thing that begins the workflow or begins your automation. So it runs the workflow on clicking a button in NetN, good for getting started quickly. Is that okay? For here on an app, let's say you want to start the automation with an app and the app is going to be the trigger. So this is where you can start it from. On a schedule, for example, those of you who will be using this automation to schedule posts on your social media platforms, you can actually schedule a post to post directly from here to post on all your social media platforms and it will work. If you want to do that one, you can start with this one. Is that okay? And then on a webhook call, don't worry, all these things will be covered on form submission. On form submission is based on that form I was telling you from day one, that let's say you start with a form and whoever picks the form, this is what should happen. Whoever fills the form, you collect his email and that should happen. And of course, that's what we are going to be doing in today's video. And then of course we have all of these things here and all of that. Is that okay? Now let's click on form submission because it's going to be our trigger. That's the first thing that will happen. So let's click on it, and if you click on it, you will see that it has all these things here, right? But let me close it and show you. If I close it, you can see that form submission has already been here, but it's not currently working because it has not been set up. You can see that it's carrying this red something here. I remember I told you that if it's working, you will see a green tick good on it and not this one here. All right, so let me double click on it and it will open this same interface here. This side we have the real trigger, that is if actually something is actually happening here. And this one, this place here is a settings place where you have to fill the form in order to get this. And once maybe you fill the form and somebody gets something, maybe fill the form, you see it from here, then the result output, the output should be from here. This is the execution aspect, this is the setting aspect, and this is the output aspect. if somebody fill the form, you can fill the form that there's execution from here. You can actually see the result from here. Is that okay? So we're going to do a simple practice by trying to create a simple form and see how it's being run. Is that okay? Now let's click here and you can see authentication. Please leave it under the authentication like this, none. Under this form title, what do you want the form title to be? So let's say I think it's salary. Let's just start with salary. For example, salary form. You can actually name it anything or based on whatever you want to build. Is that okay? Then the description, you can describe it if you want, but for now we don't want to describe it, but it's important that if you want to describe, you can describe. And the most important thing here is that you now have to add form elements. That is, you are creating the form already. We have started from the form title and you are creating the form. So if I click on add form element, and then the label here could be, what is that? First thing will be first name. Let's say they want the form to be first name, and then what is the element? The element is, that is, if somebody fill this sorry, I didn't type this incorrect. If somebody fill that thing, what should he receive at the end? Is it number? Is it email? But it's text, so a name come as a text, so you can click on here and leave it at a text. Is that okay? All right, but if you click here, you can see that you can do it as a drop down. You can put it as email, you can put it as file, you can put it as hidden, but let's leave it at text. Is that okay? Now you can put the attributes, of course, which is sometimes is important, but for now we don't want to put any attribute. We just want to create a simple form. But as we continue in this course, we are going to be creating most of the attribute and all of that. Is that okay? All right, so let's go and let's click on add another form element, and then this one we are going to put last name. Last name. If you check, you can see that while I'm putting this, you can see that here we are already having the execution phase of the trigger here. So that's what I was trying to explain in case you did not get it correctly. So that is here, and then the last name also should be in text. And let's click another form, add another form. This one can be on email. All right, on the under email, the element type will not be text again, but email. I believe you are beginning to understand now. All right, so that is this. And then the next form type again could be, let's say, the salary range. Now salaries range. All right, so under the salary range, you can now click here. So instead of clicking if maybe a text, we can now put it on drop down. So under the drop down, option 1 could be those of them who are only earning, let's say 50k or 50k to, let's say, 700k. All right, 50k to 700k. And then we can add another attribute, another field, another option. Then let's say those of them who are earning 600k to 800k, and then we can still have another option, and those of them who are earning 90k and above, 90k plus. All right, so we have added still of the options. Like, we are trying to create a form. I don't know if you understand. All right, so you can add another form element, and then say the last thing is, let's say, what is the message. All right, so this is the message, and then you can now see here. So you can just try to create a form by, no matter how long the form is, you can just create it. This is the same way of creating a form like we are creating it from Google Form, right? But this one is under n8n and is under execution. The automation, what we are trying to run. We are not creating a form from Google Form or anywhere. We're creating it from here. So that is that. After you have created your form, just follow and do exactly what I've done. Is that okay? As a practice, just do exactly what I've done, taking the exact step here. All right, so let's copy this. You can see that we have test execution here. So all I have to do, let me see if this form is actually working by clicking it. All right, and go to Google, and then we'll now put the form and then click on enter. And if you click on enter, you can see that execution step, form trigger is not listing yet. Why? Because we did not actually execute this phase. So to execute this form, we can just simply click on execute. And once you click on execute, you can now see that this is the form here. Are you seeing? So the form is now active, and let's fill the form and see what happens. So from here, I can just click on put my information, and then from here, what's the salary range? You can see that it dropped down, now list out all the salary. So let's say I'm earning 600k to 800k, and the message is thank you for my salary. For example, for my salary. All right, just do exactly as I'm doing, or if you want to do it in a different way, fine. So I can now click on submission. So I've submitted this form, and immediately, let me close it. Immediately, you can see that my information is now written on the output. So these are the information here. Let me scroll down. So my first name is Dennis, last name Onigan, email. So the more people fill that form, the more you're going to see it from your own dashboard, which is this local host of the NetN. Is that okay? So that is this, like this, like this. Then the form mode is testing. We are just testing, so it's not a live something. Assuming you want this to actually work well for you, this is the product link where you can now convert it to your own main link. So for this link, you can now copy it and maybe put it on your website or put it on your social media anywhere. And when somebody filled it from there, you can now see it here. Is that okay? That's how it is being done. So once we are done with everything here, you can now click on exit. And when once come here, you can now see that the form is now on a green tick, showing that this workflow for this particular trigger is working. Is that okay? All right, so we have our Google form here and we want to add another node. Is that okay? So to add another node, remember we have talked from the beginning that immediately after the person filled the form, what should happen. So let's say we want to add a Google Sheet where the form will actually, the information will actually be synchronized or moved to a Google Sheet before maybe to receive an email. So to do that, you can just click on here to add another node. Remember, we are building automation, so you can just click on here and then come here and click on Google Sheet. All right, so you can just click on Google Sheet, and under Google Sheet we have create spreadsheet, delete spreadsheet, append or update, and all of this. So we want it on append or update rule. Why? Because once somebody fill the form, the Google Sheet should be automatically updated with the person's data, the first name, the last name, the information, just the way we created that form. So it should be append and just be updating the which as somebody is filling the form. So just click on here, and then you can see that the information, because we connected that Google form. All right, because we connected that. Let me show you something. Because we actually click on this node to link this Google Sheet, we can see that it has pulled all every information we have here, and we are now having it at this output input. So it means that if you have had, like, let's say up to 100 people who have filled that form, you will see all their information line up here, so you can be able to use them to execute this. Is that okay? So but we have one information and it's here, so we still have the input here, and then this is the setting of the current node, and then from here we'll now have, if we do any execute any step here, you still see the output here just the way we saw it from that side. But for today, we don't want to do anything here. I just want to actually show you how it's being run. Is that okay? Now, if you don't want to link this to this, you can actually delete it by clicking on this delete button in the center. I think I told you that, and then you can just hold it and move it away. But we want it. Is that okay? So let me click on this and extend it back. Let me double click and schedule. Okay, it's correct. Is that okay? So that is that for this, and we will not have to go long because today is just we see also an introduction, trying to move it step by step into the AI automation course. Is that okay? So in the next class, which is class 4, we're now going to explain what JSON is, because if we come here and click on here, you see this information, you can see that from here this information is presented as table. But if you click on schema, you can see that it's looking like this. Click on JSON, you can see the way it's looking like coding or something. So from the next class, you're going to be explaining most of all these things, so you don't have to get worried with it. Is that okay? So in the next class, you're going to continue building this thing, because I don't want to continue it here so that it will not be too bogus for you to understand. Is that okay? So thank you so much for attending the day 3 class. I have an assignment for you. Number 1, I want you to practice exactly what I have done from the beginning of this class to the last to this space, and then snap this and post it on your status, on your WhatsApp, on your LinkedIn, Facebook, anywhere you have social media platform. Tell them this is the day 3 of what you have been learning, and this is what you have done for day 3. It is very important. And also write down your takeaway and put them in the comment section. This is very, very important. Write down your takeaway and put it in the very description. And the last assignment is you can read up JSON, like I just said, JSON for yourself. This thing here, you can read it up. You're right, just know about it, because we're going to be explaining it in the next class. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the day 4.